In the previous episode, we talked about how to draw a triangle when given two sides and an included angle, right? So this was the included angle, and then these are the two sides. So that's how to draw it. I talked about that in the previous episode, and then we also talked about inscribed circles, circumscribed circles, and ascribed circles of a triangle. Now, in this episode, we'll be talking about the circle. And in the circle episode, we are going to be talking specifically about the various parts of a circle. Now, this is a tangent, this is a radius, this is a diameter, this is a chord, this is an arc, this is a circumference. So what are all these? So now, first of all, a circle is a plane figure. A circle is a plane figure bounded by a curved line called the circumference, which is always equidistant from the center. So this is a plane figure bound by a circumference, and that circumference is always equidistant from the center, and this is the center. Then your diameter is a straight line drawn through the center, meeting the circumference at both ends. Then your radius is a straight line drawn from the center to the circumference. So, and specifically, your radius is half the diameter. Next, we have an arc. What's an arc? An arc is any part of the circumference. So this section of the circumference is called an arc. The next, we have a chord. A chord is a straight line drawn across a circle, meeting the circumference at both ends. So when this straight line is called a chord, is drawn from in the circle and meets the circumference at both ends. Now, a special type of a chord that passes through the center of the circle is called a diameter. Now, lastly, let's talk about the tangent. A tangent is a straight line which touches the circumference. So, on this tangent will touch the circumference of the circle at only one point, and it is always at right angle to the radius drawn from the point of contact. So if this radius is drawn from the point of contact to this tangent, it will be at right angle to this tangent. So, and that radius will pass through the point of contact. Now, this tangent, it is very important in not just technical drawing, but in mathematics, in further mathematics, and even advanced mathematics. So, because tangent is used and is linked with the gradient and rate of change of the differentiative or the differential coefficient of a line. So that is dy dx. So you always use it to calculate the gradient, and the gradient is always gotten from the tangent. So this tangent is very much applied in circle theorems, in mathematics, and in geometry. That is the circle. So let's talk about segments. What is a segment? A segment is a part of a circle that is bounded by an arc and a chord. So this is an arc here, which is the part of the circumference, and this is a chord here. So a chord is basically any line that is drawn from inside the circle to touch any two parts of the circumference. Now, this area between this line and this arc, or between this chord and this arc here, is called a segment. This segment, it has been shaded here with hatching lines. Then next we have a sector. A sector is a part of a circle bounded by two radii and an arc. So when you draw two radius or two radii, and bounded by two radii and another arc, that's called a sector. So you can also see that applied in mathematics, where you are asked to calculate the area and the perimeter of a sector. So that is where it's applied. The next we have a quadrant. Is a part of a circle bounded by two radii at right angles and an arc. So a quadrant is a special type of sector, but in this case, the two radii that bound the sector are at right angles to each other. That's called a quadrant. And if the two radii that bound a sector are at 180 degrees to each other, they form a semicircle. If they are 270 degrees, they form 3/4 of a circle, and if they are at 360 degrees, they form the whole circle. So that is what we're talking about here. Then let's talk about concentric and eccentric circles. Now, a concentric circle or circle that have the same center but different radii. So, for example, this system of circles here, they all have the same center, this center here. But the thing is, this one has a smaller radius, this one has a larger radius, while this external one has the largest radius. So these are concentric circles which share the same center. But eccentric circles have different centers. So they are eccentric circles. So this one has this center, this second circle has a center here, this third circle has the center here. So they have different centers. So those are called eccentric circles because they have different centers.